I'm Joe Shelley, and this is my testimony on how God has worked in my life. I'll start probably a few months before my baptism. Ninth grade, I was in pot and alcohol, and I remember I went to a friend's house and they were getting high. You know, joined in, and this time it wasn't a high; it was a trip. Uh, yeah, and the next day, I know how high getting high was. I've gotten high plenty of times before this, but this was like a trip though. But the next day, I I would go in my basement and work out like I have, like I've been doing back in the day. And I noticed that my heart wasn't racing like normal, or I wasn't sweating, and it was really freaking me out. And that's when I actually got on my knees and prayed to God, say, "Hey God, you know, help me to, let me be normal. It was really freaking me out. Help me to be normal." And it lasted about a week, and I told my best friend about it, and he told me later that it could have been laced with like coke or heroin or something. Anyway, I I really tripped out about that. So I stopped doing alcohol, drugs, slowed down a lot. And from that prayer, I from that prayer, I guess it really, made me think about God. So, and at the time, our church hired a new youth minister, and who started, teaching me about the Bible and stuff, and about life and stuff. And I really enjoyed their time together because I really liked his heart, how it really loved God and serving Him, and that's what I was really attracted to, I guess. But anyway, after that, I started reading the Bible from beginning to end, and and then in a response, I got baptized. I responded to God's call, I suppose, and I was like, I know this is the way I was supposed to go, so I got baptized. But after my baptism, I got on my hands and knees, and right after baptism, it was just me and God, and I was like, God, help me to walk in your light. Let me be like your son. Let me know your son. Let me, if knowing your son is knowing you, then let me do it. Let me walk in his footsteps. And God has answered that. And it wasn't until, with my best friend, after I got baptized, I didn't want our relationship to decline. I really, loved being around my best friend. We had such good times and that. And I didn't want it to waste away because we've been great friends since preschool. And, I asked God, I said, "Hey, God, please help him to, know you like, I know you, because I've been praying a lot, and I've been seeing how God has unfold those prayers, and he's got to be real. We're real." And so after a while, he started going to my he went to a couple of church camps, and he ended up, and his family started going to church, and I was like, "Wow, God, you're really working. I thank you." And we had such a great time. And after a couple of years, I kind of started slipping away. Started dabbling in alcohol, and maybe slipping in cussing, and not being the best example of Christian. But 4 years after my baptism in ninth grade, I was in 12th grade, and my best friend at the time had a car accident and he passed away. And I was so like, I was so cut up inside that I didn't understand. I couldn't believe, my God, that I've been loved and I served, and I love to serve, and allow this to happen to my best friend, who I don't even think he made a decision yet to be baptized, or to be part of our family, or God's family. And I was so hurt. And not only that, a couple of months later, 2 or 3 months later, the girl that I've been dating for 3 years, that I thought I was gonna get married to, and all that, go to college and get a job, career, and all that, and get married and have a family, but she dumped me, and that really hurt, and that broke my heart at the time, and she didn't say, why she wanted to, stop seeing each other, but I knew in my heart that it was someone else she was chasing, and that just broke me. I mean, I felt like a welcome mat. I felt, betrayed. I felt abandoned, lonely. I was confused. I was like, and I started questioning God. I was like, what is going on? And it was just a really bad time. And then, my graduation party, me and my best friend had plans of our families kind of getting together and having a big graduation party. And, his parents came over to my graduation party. And, the toughest question I had to answer was, his dad asking me, so what's your plans for the future? And I'm just like thinking to myself, I just lost my best friend. The girl that I love broke up with me. What do I have to live for? God's punished me, or something. And, well, I know alcohol became my new closest friend. I was in like survival mode, and alcohol was my survival kit. I stopped praying to God. I totally just stopped praying to God and just trying to survive. And I told him I'm going to go to college, but I didn't for the first year. After the first year I just worked after I graduated, and then the following year I did go to a Christian school, and I did buy my first drum set there. This is not the set, but I love playing drums. It's more of a therapy for me. I just love learning it. So, and I got into a band, 94, 95. Good band, I thought, anyway. But, I was into drugs, alcohol, sex, and it just kind of crumbled. But it was like the highlight of my life, and I really enjoyed it. But from the point my best friend died to the point after I was kicked out of my band, or out of the band that I really enjoyed, I really liked, but I didn't care. I lived a life at that period was just like, pleasure. I didn't care. I didn't care about really nothing, no one, or anything. I didn't care if I lived or died, whatever happened. That's where I was at that point. It was just all dark. If it wasn't dark, it was gray. But I got this girl pregnant who we ended up getting married. But I tell you what, when she told me she was pregnant and she wanted to have the baby, that's when I got on my hands and knees for the first time in like 8 years, that I said, God, why have you burdened me with this? I'm in no shape to have a little Joe Jr. running around. And that was the truth. I wasn't. I knew I wasn't. But I said, God, help me to change. I need to change. I need to change. I need to stop, cursing and cussing and drinking, smoking pot, smoking cigarettes. I need to cut it all out. And I need to change, forget. I need to come to you, and that's what I did. And from that day, forth, I think he has answered my prayer. Because now my oldest one, my firstborn, is like 20, going on 21. And we have and both my sons, I only have two sons, but we have a really good relationship. And and it's great because at that time in my life, I didn't have great relationships. It's kind of like artificial relationships, and I could not have a relationship like I did with my best friend. It just never happened. I don't know if it was me or, I was afraid of their die or, they hurt me or what. I don't know. But I still don't have a friend outside my family, that close relationship. But but this family God's blessed me with is wonderful. And I thank God every day for it. But I tell you what, there are moments when either son, at moments when they say something or they do something, and it just, that moment where they do something that my best friend would do, and that right there is priceless. I can't, and it don't happen often. It just sometimes. I guess maybe when God sees that I need a little perk or something in my life or something. I don't know. But just sometimes, and I've told him about this before, but, but those times, I just like, God's just there. He's always been there. And I know I've turned my back on God. And now I see this, I come in a response to God to be his child. I love God. I had a great relationship. Then it turned twisted. I turned my back on him. I've had enough of him. And then now it's, back to loving him, praying to him, believing in him, and thanking him every day. That's that's part of my life, my period of my life that was dark, and he's led me out of that, and that's what I wanted to share today. And thank you for watching. This is my testimony, and I'm sure there's going to be more later on. So many prayers, and that's one thing I have to say about God is that when I pray, I look for it to be open. I look for it to be unfolded, and it may not come, next day, 2 weeks, months, years. I don't know. But He'll let me know, and it's great, and I can't explain it. It's just something so powerful that I cannot deny there's God. Plain and simple. Thank you, and have a blessed day. And be the blessing. All right? Bye.